You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey here with the mailbag, answering all of your questions live on our Monday NFL Daily Edition using hashtag NFL or by super chatting. First up from Juan Espinoza, what do you think of the Jacksonville Jags head coach, Doug Pederson? I thought a terrible process that ended up getting a pretty decent head coaching hire. They kind of messed up in their Byron Leftwich pursuit. I still do not trust Trent Baalke. However, I think landing Doug Pederson does benefit Trevor Lawrence moving forward. So, bad process. Results end up being pretty decent. From Will, should the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers before he makes his decision? I think the only reason you would do that is if you don't think he's going to say, I want to stay. I don't think the value really drops at all for Aaron Rodgers if you mean demanding a trade. If you're worried about him retiring, then, it's not going to happen. Like, the Packers are not going to be able to trade Rodgers if teams going, if he's going to I'm going to retire, teams are not going to trade for him. If you mean wanting to be traded, you're going to want to wait because he's still your best chance for winning that coveted second ring with him in Green Bay. So if you're going to trade him, you're going to wait for the decision either way, which maybe we'll know soon as the NFL offseason gets underway. Evan Hinders, Steelers draft Carson Strong. He would be a perfect fit. So he's a good fit under the more typical Big Ben style offenses. Matt Canada has seemingly implied that he wants a more mobile quarterback, and that's been a comment made by some other players and coaches. So if you want a mobile quarterback, Carson Strong's not your guy. He can move the pocket decently, but he offers you nothing as a run threat. He's not going to scramble. He's not going to pick up and tuck and run and get you 10, 15 yards, even if there's no one really spying him. So if you want a pocket passer in Pittsburgh, then Strong's a good fit. If you want a more mobile guy, Strong's at the bottom of that list this year. From Steven Crosio, hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. After the Senior Bowl, who should be the number one pickup the Tennessee Titans should draft? I'm still looking receiver/tight end. If you want like a Trey McBride at tight end, that'd be, I think, a pretty good pick. Late end round one, at least a decent pick. There will be some good receivers. If you want to take a Treylon Burks, a Drake London, even maybe a Jahan Dotson, a Chris Olave, Jamison Williams. There's some damn good receivers that you could find this year at the back end of round one. All right, from Collin the Cow, should the Browns trade for Saints receiver Michael Thomas? Ooh, good question. Michael Thomas's future in New Orleans is murky because he's played 7 games the past 2 years. I'm not sure that's something that you really want to have for your very high-paid wide receiver. I don't know how much he'd be worth on the open market. And if you're the Browns, are you like, take Michael Thomas, has his own question marks, or do you want to take a receiver in round one? You could have almost your pick of Garrett Wilson, Olave, Williams, London, Burks, etc. It's a good topic. I think we'll discuss plenty here because I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints moved on from Michael Thomas. So with that in mind, where do you think he will play in 2022? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's mailbag. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know where Michael Thomas plays this upcoming season. Super chat from Richie Miller. Options for the Eagles' 3 first-round picks. Any blue-chip linebackers? I would be on board for a team that admittedly does not invest much in off-ball linebackers early, and either Devin Lloyd out of Utah or Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. Those guys, I think, would be solid picks, and I bet at least one of them is on the board for Philadelphia. You could go edge rushers. There'll be some good guys there. Offensive line, there will be good corners as well. And if you want to try a first-round receiver again, there will be some players who could fit in Philly. Super chat from Jose Raider Martinez. Where do you think Mariota will end up? Ooh, good question. So much this depends on what trades go down. I think teams that he could make some sense in, I could see a team like maybe Denver gives a shot. I think Washington could sign Mariota and then draft somebody as well. Beyond that, does a team like Houston bring him in as a veteran behind Davis Mills? Does a team like the Giants want to have a bit of more of a competition if they can't get maybe a Mitchell Trubisky, given the Brian Dable connection there? Does a team like the Vikings blow it up with Kirk Cousins and add a guy like Marcus Mariota? And maybe the Saints or Panthers or Tampa could be fits. As I will shoot my way too early shot. Give me Washington. Probably wrong, but give me Washington for Marcus Mariota. Today's video is powered by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you guys see on that. It's NFL Daily. It'll get you a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. Chatsports.com/bet, promo code NFL Daily. The odds, by the way, in the Super Bowl, Rams, a 4-point favorite. Bengals, the underdog, over-under set at 48.5. I am very intrigued to see how this line moves. It was 4.5, back down to 4. Bet on the game and all of the props that BetUS will have at chatsports.com/bet. From Robert Cisneros, I think I might have pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry if I did. Should the Raiders draft Burks/London or Jordan Davis? I like all three guys. I think for the Raiders, unless you sign somebody in free agency, give me the first-round receiver. Now, I think London is a better fit for Las Vegas than Burks. Burks did much of his damage from the slot, so I feel better about London being a true outside, more of that vertical, big-bodied receiver threat. I like Jordan Davis. I don't know if the Raiders, with as many friends they have on the interior defensive line, should invest in a two-down player. Fantastic run stopper, but he doesn't bring you that much in the pass rush area. He brings you less than, say, Vita Vea did on his college film. From Chizzy Gaming, or however you pronounce it, do you think the Seahawks make the Super Bowl next season? I don't. NFC West is loaded. I think they'll be better than what they were last year, but I'm not going to bank on them, being able to make it to the Super Bowl unless they get super aggressive, which is what I would do, but I'm not sure that organization will end up doing it. ECK Sports. Should the Giants trade Leonard Williams, would save $10 million pre-June 1st, $20 million post-June 1st, then it's not an edge rusher. Well, you can't get the money for free agency by trading Williams after June 1st. That money would not be hit until after June 1st. So, can you get an edge for $10 million? I'm not so sure. I would probably keep Williams and then, make some other roster moves or draft an edge rusher. You got 2 picks in the top 7. You might get lucky and get a top edge rusher falling to you in round 1. So, I like Leonard. He is a bit overpaid. Thanks, Dave Gettleman, for waiting so long and handling that contract terribly. I don't think a trade and signing an edge really satisfies and makes you a whole lot better overall with the money you would have available. I want to get to 279K subscribers on Chat Sports. We'll do easy math here. Call it 850 away. So if you haven't already and you want free videos here on Chat Sports, hit that big red button and subscribe. From Ghost80, I think Drew Lock deserves another shot. He played good when he started, and I think Nathaniel Hackett will get the best from Drew. Here's my point of contention. Did he actually play good? This is a guy who in his career has a sub-60% completion percentage, is averaging under 6.8 yards per attempt, and a nearly 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. We've seen 21 starts of Drew Lock. I don't think he's the guy. I don't. I think he's an NFL QB, but this is a team built to win games right now. So I don't think banking on a fourth-year QB who hasn't really shown you that much is the route to go. Now, if you miss across the board, okay, that's fine, but I don't think it's the really good path for Denver to pursue. Next up, what you think about Mike McDaniel? It's a fun hire. I think he has a very sharp NFL mind. I mean, the guy went to Yale after all, and I believe Andrew Hawkins, a.k.a. Baby Hawk, when he said he thinks McDaniel's the smartest guy in the NFL, I think it's a solid hire by Mike McDaniel. Producer Jack loves it. I think he brings you a very different style than Brian Flores did. You got to have more success with Tua. The offense, despite what some people say, the Shanahan offense is not the Tua offense at Bama. It's not the same, but I think you'll see a lot more play action and run success in Miami next year than what you saw this past season. Truth or 25, should the Dolphins trade for Mekhi Becton to the Jets? Done with him. It's a fun idea. Mekhi Becton is in a weird spot. The Jets, there was a report a couple weeks ago that the Jets were like, yeah, we're not happy with Becton because he was out of shape. We're mad at him. And then this year, they come out and said, hey, or this past month I should say, they come out and say, hey, we're going to have a competition there. That's bad. When your first round pick is in a competition for his job 2 years in, not a good sign. If the Jets draft a tackle in round 1, which is a possibility, call him. See what you can get for him. You do worry about the effort and the weight, which the Jets apparently have, but if he's your left tackle, he moves really well. I'm open to it. So I don't think the Jets will trade him to a division rival, but I could see him getting dealt. So with that in mind, name a player who you think gets traded this offseason. Any player, any team, I want you guys to drop a name for me right now in the comments section. From Tristan Bravo, do you think Bulky was that's a great, autocorrect voice, whatever it was, trying to create a Browns rushing attack with the Jags with the ETN pick, or was a waste of it altogether? I think that was an Urban Meyer pick. He wanted Kadarius Toney. He wanted his own Percy Harvin. And they spent one on the fast guy in ETN. I think at this point you got to create kind of a Browns attack on the ground with ETN and James Robinson, but that pick made no sense at the time and looks even worse after the injury and the year that Urban Meyer had. From Ryan, should the Browns focus on signing a receiver in free agency or drafting one? It's a good question. I think either works. They want to operate with a certain amount of money. You got to re-sign some guys. Edge is a big-time need as well. I feel better about the Browns having a great or good receiver on the board than a great edge rusher. There's kind of a gap there with how the board will probably fall. So look at the free agency market. If you find a good value, sign one. If not, sign a cheap guy and then take somebody in round 1 or in round 2. From Elise, I think the Dolphins will trade Tua and a pick for Deshaun Watson. I don't know. Who wanted Deshaun? Was it ownership or was it Brian Flores? I have no idea who it was. I don't believe anything coming out of that organization right now. So I'm going to say no, but I feel like we will one day get back to this. We'll see. The Deshaun situation's tough because he still might go to jail. Can't trade for him right now. Just can't. Mold Jimmy. Could the Seahawks trade for a new OT to replace Dwayne Brown? How much would it cost for Andre Dillard? Good name. Second or third would be my guess. He's a good player. Can't play on the right side, but when he's played left tackle, he's been pretty solid. Now, the problem is if you trade for Andre Dillard, you probably want to pay him big money as well, and that makes things a little bit dicey for a team that has to figure out several of their own big free agents. But I think a name like Dillard, if you can get him, actually does make some sense for Seattle. Would not cost you a first, which is good because Seattle has no first-round pick. So will your team be a buyer or a seller this year in terms of what they do with trades and adding big-name free agents? Let me know in the comments section. It's B for buyer, S for seller.